All right, I am so excited to introduce our second speaker of the night. Our second speaker is Sonia, and Sonia was born and raised in Portugal. She speaks 3 languages, and she's a middle child of 5 kids. Sonia, come on up and share your fuck up.
Hello. It is my second time at Fuck Up Night, so I fucked up twice. But, who's counting, right? Any entrepreneurs in the house? Ooh, anyone in tech? Yeah. Well, why wasn't that exciting? Let's hope I don't fuck up with this little thing over here. No, I did. See? Okay. This is the title of my presentation. Sky High Start Ground Level Crash. What does that mean? Okay. So my product is called Field Eagle. It is a digital asset management that allows inspectors to go out and collect data out on the field digitally without paper and pen. So the biggest market that we started out with was oil, gas, and mining. So I'm going to walk you through this. So I was the operations manager at a software development company for many, many years. I now run that company, and this product came to us as an idea from a customization that a government entity was looking for. So we had this government entity come to us and say, we have 3 months out of the year to do inspections. But not only do we have 3 months out of the year to do those inspections, we also have to do all of the repairs because they were in a remote area and they could not get, the weather was really bad and they just couldn't get everything done throughout the year. They had 3 months time period. So they came to us looking for a custom solution that would allow them to do the inspections digitally with rugged tablets because of the weather and get the reporting done quickly. And there was a bunch of other components there. So we started working with this company and building a custom application for them that was very specific to their needs. As we're doing that, magically, an oil and gas inspection company from Australia came to us asking for the exact same thing, but for oil rig inspections in Australia. And they had the same problem. They wanted to be able to collect data from these massive oil rigs, so assets, and a lot of their time was being spent in the office doing the report. So when these inspectors go out, they get paid when they provide the report. And if they're doing this manually, it can take weeks, months to get this report done because they're going out and they're inspecting thousands and thousands of inspection points in these oil rigs. And then they're taking pictures and they're taking notes. And when they go back to the office after they've been to multiple locations, they're trying to gather all this data, remember everything that they did, and put it all into one place. So we were like, yeah, okay, we're a software company. We can build that as customization for you, but whoa, this is an idea here. Why don't we build this as a SaaS product, so software as a service? We will work with you. We will charge you less, and we'll get your requirements, but we're going to build this as a product for us. You own the data. We work with you to collect all the requirements, and then we're going to take this product to market. And that really worked well for us. So we worked with this government entity and this company in Australia, and we built out this product called Field Eagle, and it was doing really well. Like we had customer base, and we had these 2 clients using it. We were bootstrapping while we're building this SaaS application. It was doing really well. And so we were really proud. It was all fully web-based. We had a app component to it, so the inspectors, instead of going out with a paper clip and pen, they would go out with a tablet application. We had a synchronization infrastructure that brought information back to the web application. It was all working really well. And then we had this whale of a client reach out to us at the same time as we're finishing these other 2 applications. And they were a mining company, and they were like, we need exactly what you've built, but we need it on steroids. So we're like, okay, what do you need? So this company was building reclaimer machines. The reclaimer machines is the bucket machines in mining sites that take the the dirt and all the and take it out so that they can collect. This was a coal mining company, and they were ginormous. And they came to us and said, we're looking for a system. We're like, we got a system for you. And they were like, well, we need this, and that, and we need all this stuff. And we're like, we're a startup, first of all. We have like 5 people. But we're like, we can do it. So we got together as a team, and we're like, okay, how can we do this? And we're like, guys, let's take our product, baseline, what we built for these 2 other customers, freaking genius, and let's just offer customization. Yes, let's bid on it. And we were like, yeah, we want to bid on the project. They're like, come out to Germany. We're gonna set you up. They paid for our flight to go to Germany. We had this whole pitch ready to go. We get to Germany, and we're sitting there, and across from us is a 20-year-old Canadian company that has been doing this for 20 years. So we're like a year in with this tiny little product going up against this major Canadian competitor in Toronto, and then a German company that has been doing this for 40 years. So we're sitting there and we're like, yeah, there's no way we're gonna land this. But it was a good learning experience. But we were not gonna give up. We're still gonna go in and do our pitch. And you know what? We're gonna go home with our tail between our legs, but we learned something, right? We fucking won the bid. Yes, our tiny little 5-people company won the bid because we offered customization. Everyone else had a fixed product that it was like, you want our product? This is what our product has. This is what you get. Oh, you want this, and that? No, we don't do that. This is our product. It was out of the box. We don't freaking care. We just want the business. This is like a whale for us, so we offered the moon. And they're like, yeah, sure. We'll give you the bid. We'll work with you, right? So we come back to Canada. We get started. I started assembling a team. I got like my 2 co-founders with me. Like, what could possibly go wrong, right? So here's the thing, and I'm going to get into the details a little bit, but startups, most of you, me including, I have another startup, you have an idea. You start from the ground up, and you build up, right? The thing when you get a whale is you don't get to start from the ground up. You start from the top. And you gotta you gotta keep going higher. You can't go down. You gotta keep going higher. So we realized very quickly, within a couple of days of starting our relationship with this customer, that not only had we landed a whale, we had landed something that was way bigger than we were, and we had experience building startups. I had another startup that we were working on at the same time, but this had already presented to be a huge challenge for us. And so it sucked up my entire life. It became the project from hell, literally. I will never wish this upon anybody. I never want to take on a project like this in my life again. We had a bid that said we were going to work on this customization for a year. Within that year, the people that I had hired to be on the project were like, fuck this client's a bully, we're not putting up with it. So we're working with a bunch of miners, men, in Germany, Austria, Australia, and South Africa. And where the guys from Germany are the bosses, and they're like, build this, and that. We're like, okay, we can build that. And then the guys that are in the field who are going to use the application, they're like, no, this is crap. We don't want this. And we're like, what? We don't want, what do you mean it takes 3 clicks to get to where we want to go? No, scrap. And then we would go back to the guys in Germany who approved them. They're like, no, this is good. But the guy said this. Oh, they're right. Build it again. And then the guys in South Africa are like, no, we can't use this type of app, of this type of tablet, because it'll melt in the trucks. We're like, it was like a never-ending battle. And then what happened was I got sucked in where I was only on this project, and I was up I was having meetings at 11 p.m., 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 6 a.m., and a year goes by, and 2 years goes by, and 3 years goes by, and I'm still working on this freaking project that just won't go away. And it's like, it is the project from hell. And I no longer want to be on it. I don't care about bootstrapping. I don't care about SaaS. I hate this project and I want out. It is the project from literally hell. I had a point in my life where I was walking around my office. I'd be like, hey, if this project doesn't send me to the grave, nothing will. Because it was that bad. And I was bullied. These are all men in mining, so they're like rough around the edges. So things got really bad to the point that one day, one of my co-founders comes to me and is like, you got to go to Austria. I'm like, why do I go to Austria? You go to Austria. Like, you're a guy. These are a bunch of dudes. You go. Like, he's like, no. I got to, like, pick up my kids from school, and my wife is working late. You got to go because you're single and you have no kids. Like, go. And I'm like, okay, when am I going? You're leaving tomorrow. I booked you a flight. Okay. So I'm like, what's going on with the project? Like, ramp me up. Like, I need to know. They're like, you know what? They called me, and they're just like, we need to get some things in order. Like, come out, and we got to organize a couple of things. I'm like, okay, but I want to, like, be prepped for this. Like, what do I need to do? He's like, nothing. Just show up. Okay. So I remember I called one of the project managers from the client side, and I'm like, hey, like, I heard you guys want me to come out. What's up? Like, I want to be prepared. What do you want? No, just come. It's just going to be a conversation. Like, we'll figure it out when you get here. Sure. So I fly out the next day. They pick me up at the airport. Don't even take me to my hotel after, like, a 5-hour layover in Turkey. They take me straight to the boardroom. So I put my luggage aside, get there, get to the boardroom, and the VP of this massive whale of a mining company comes out, and they're like, okay, so give us your presentation. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, in my head, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I don't have a presentation. You guys said I didn't have to do anything. I'm freaking out. So, I'm like, oh my God, I'm sweating. I'm sweating like an animal. So I'm like, you know what? I was working on the plane, and my laptop is dead. Like, I can't open up my PowerPoint. They're like, don't worry, just tell us what you remember. I'm like, okay. So I get in front of this boardroom. There are 15 old mining men just staring at me. And I'm like, I spoke. I'm like, hello, and my voice started cracking. I heard it cracking. It was so bad. I was freaking out. And then I'm like, hey, okay, I have this other product called MenuSano, which has lots of fuck-ups, and I learned a lot from that. I'm in tech, which is a male-dominated space. What's mining in a male? I'm not afraid of these men. I'm just gonna, like, wing it. I'm doing it. So I got up there. I don't remember what the fuck I said. I don't remember. I think I spoke for an hour, but apparently it was only 15 minutes. I don't know. But the thing is, like, when you know your product and you know your industry and you know your space and you know what you're doing, you can get up and talk about that, and that's good enough. And that's sort of what I did. So I went up. Again, I don't remember what I said, but I spoke, and then I remember I just kind of, I was like, okay, so, like, that's my presentation. And, like, there was, like, 2 seconds of silence, and then, like, the VP looked at me, and he's like, that's fantastic. I like this strategy. Let's do it. Let's get started. I'm like, what's the strategy? Like, I don't fucking know. Like, what? So I was out there for 2 weeks. We got the whole thing set up. I had my developers from Macedonia come over the last week and spend time there. And I was able to sort of get things back on track. But this is what we ended up with. You remember how I said I wanted to build a SaaS application? Anybody know anything about SaaS? We built a fucking monster. And we could not sell this thing. Now, we made over $1 million. We had 3 clients, a government entity, an oil and gas inspection company, and then this client made over $1 million, built this massive system that we could not sell because it was too big. Smaller companies could not afford it. The infrastructure was too big. Now, working with this mining company was a really good learning experience. I would never do it again. They can go fuck themselves, but, you know. But it was a really good learning experience. Hello. But we built a system that was massive. Nobody wanted it. We couldn't sell it. First of all, the price ticket was too high. We didn't know what to do with it. So I had to make a decision. Okay, these clients are happy. This mining company got acquired by a bigger mining company, and they came to me and they're like, we need to put an end to this project. And I'm like, thank the Lord. They're like, I think we've reached the point where like it's good enough for us to start using. Let's just stop development, use it. And I'm like, okay, bye-bye. And then I was hoping I was just gonna go off and sell this thing, and I couldn't. It was unsellable. It was too big. It just didn't have the legs that I wanted. And I'm, at the same time, relaunching another project, MenuSano, which is another product that I'm the founder of. And I've just reached burnout. Like, I worked with this company for, at the end of it, 5 years, sleepless nights. I was the only main stakeholder on it. I was dealing with these really rude, obnoxious men. I was just burnt out, and I was ready to take a break. I knew that it was still like a really good product, but I knew from my previous experience with other startups that I needed to take a step back and just sort of like figure out where I wanted to go with it. And then I got diagnosed with breast cancer. And so now I'm like, oh, crap. Now what do I do? So I believe that my life and our lives are, everything that happens for a reason. And everything, you have challenges that you go through, and the next challenge is bigger than the other. And I believe that my life has been a stepping stone to prepare me for this moment. And all of these really hard challenges and people that I had to deal with, and customers, and building products, and sleepless nights and stress was a build-up to be able to handle something like this. And so I went through breast cancer. I was lucky that I found it early. I was stage 1. Spoiler alert, I conquered it, and I'm still here. Yeah, I did it. But it was a really long battle for me. I had a double mastectomy. I had 4 surgeries within 2 years. I had hormone therapy. I had reconstruction. I had tissue expanders. I went through this really long process. But what happened during that time was I really got to think about who I was, who I wanted to be, and where I was in my life, and how I was going to use this experience to make myself better. I always tell people now who didn't meet me beforehand, I'm like, you're meeting Sonia version 2.0. You didn't meet 1.0, and you don't want to meet 1.0 because she's like a whole other level. 2.0, she's like gone through this experience and really figured out where I want to be. And I really put my health first. I started focusing on sleeping, number 1, which is something that I never made a priority. I started making nutrition a part of my daily life. And, when you go through a health experience that takes over your body and you lose control of who you are and what's going to happen to your body and what you're going to lose in your body, the one thing that you want is control, and you can't have it. So I learned, or I became obsessive about controlling other things in my life. And one of them was just I chose to continue working through my journey, but I chose to work differently. I chose to, when I was coming up with challenges like I had with my Fuckup with Field Eagle, and I'm now thinking about where do I go next from here, I learned how to take a step back and stop. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges that a lot of founders go through, where they're sort of stuck. They know they need to pivot. They need to do something, but instead of stopping and thinking about it, they just continue. I think it's really important to just stop, even if it's just for a week, a month, a year, to just figure out, okay, what is the value that this product is adding? What's the industry, and what do I want out of it? Is it going to bring me fulfillment? Is it going to help other people? And I really took the time during that time to heal, take care of my body, and figure out what I wanted to do with these products. And so I decided I was going to rebuild. I had already rebuilt a product previously, and I found that this was going to be the best way around it. Now, I didn't want to lose all the value that we had built with this major mining company and this oil company and this government entity, because that was really good features that we had built with people who were out in the field and in the industry who knew what was required from a system that didn't exist. So I decided to go about it differently. I built it from scratch, and this time I started from the ground up and built it up, but I built it as a module. So everything that we had built previously, we had built it as part of the entire system. So this time when I went around it, I said, okay, we have all of these features, but we're going to build them as modules, which means if a company that has 2 employees wants this field legal system, they can have it. We're just going to turn off all of the modules they don't need. So now they can use the system, they can use only the features that they need, and they can afford it. And if a whale comes our way, they can also use it because we can leave all the features that they want, and they can afford it as well because they spend the money. So forward to where we are today, we're still building the system in that way. We're still building it in modules. Most of our clients are in Australia. That's just the industry you're in: oil, gas, mining, construction. We have a couple clients in different industries, but we have clients from all different walks of life in different spaces, so small, medium, large, and we do have a couple of the whales that I'm not super happy about, but it's better now, so, you know. And so we have this really good system that works. It's got everything set up, but it took a lot of time to learn and figure out how to get to this point. And it's not easy, and I will say, before I end my presentation, the big whale, like we did, you know, as a startup, who doesn't want to land a big whale, right? Like, you're stupid if you don't go down that path and you don't say yes. Who doesn't want to make $1 million in their first, second, third year of a startup? Everybody does. But I will say this. I'm glad I am where I am now, but if I could go back in time and change it, I would change it. I would not have worked with that big whale. I regret it for the rest of my life, and I wish it never happened. Thank you.
Sonia, that was amazing. Thank you for that. You are such a fighter. You've done such incredible things in the startup space and in your personal journey. Thank you for being here and for sharing your story. And kudos to you for sharing a fresh fuck up as a repeat offender, as we call it. And you know, if as this fuck up night speaker and as an entrepreneur, it's not like you only fuck up once. It's a journey. So with that, let's open it up for some Q&A for Sonia.